my spidey sense. But not really. My singing sense was one of the biggest things that helped me early on, or yeah, forever, I guess. This my singing sense of what sounds good to me and why music I like sounds good to me. It's a metric. It's a measuring tool. So I was talking earlier about like, hey, the best thing you could do is like record your singing and then study it. Well, how do you study it? Well, you measure it against what you think is good or bad. And I like to just judge it, how I would judge it, right? Like when I listen to music and what I like. So I judge my singing that way. Um, so in K-pop star, JYP broke it down really well. Like his sense of, what made singing good and bad most of the time aligned with, the type of singing that I liked listening to. Except he went the extra mile of like breaking down why it sounds good. I have a clip, but I can't show it because YouTube will block it. But I'll basically like here's JYP fundamentals. Here you go. Um, there's voice and air. Okay, so I'll just write it all over here. So voice versus to air ratio, and you can control that. So what does that mean? Voice is what I'm doing right now. Like this is my voice. This is my voice, right? If I were to sing, this is my voice. Um, this is my voice. But air is like air, and you mix it, and the more air you add in, uh, at some point, it becomes falsetto. I can't control it very well, but I hope you know what I mean. So there's the concept of voice and air, and you could play around with the ratio. You could do 50-50. You could do 70-30. You could do 30-70, and so on. And you get different sounds. And falsetto, I think, was like 70% air and 30% voice. So there's a song I'll show earlier where it's called Come Through by Jeremy Zucker. I love his falsetto. He goes, can you come through? I don't have the key right. Having the right key makes it easier too. We'll show you what I mean later with the link. Shoulders. Another thing I learned from JYP was shoulders. So, because K-pop star was an audition, like competition, a lot of the contestants would be nervous as heck, as they should be. But like stage fright, right? Performing in front of an audience, a concert, even friends, whatever, like people get nervous. And the shoulders, one way to catch that is like, oh, if your shoulders are up, that means you're nervous. And when your shoulders are up, you can't really sing. Your singing sounds tense and uncomfortable. And the people can hear if your shoulders are up. So something to like a mindfulness exercise is just, oh, like when I'm singing, am I really tense and my shoulders are up? If they are, relax, right? And then the singing will sound, my muscle control will be a lot better, sound a lot better. Okay, high notes. This is easier said than done, but higher, I'll just say high does not equal loud. And I'm still working on this myself. It's hard. It's one of the hardest concepts to grasp, especially early on when like we'll do anything to get a high note out, and sometimes that means like yelling it out. But as you learn techniques, which we'll cover in a sec, you'll find that as you learn these different skills, it'll make hitting the high notes a lot easier, and you could actually hit high notes softer with less voice and air, and it sounds a lot more pleasing. Okay, we'll touch on that some more later. Um, ah, now here's the fun part. Here's all the body parts. Can you see this? Yeah. Head, nose, and chest. I'm covering it up. That's all right. You get the idea. Head, nose, and chest. Notice throat is not part of it because throat singing kills your throat. If you're losing your voice after singing, it means you're using your throat. And you don't have to do that. There's a way better way to do it. You could use your chest voice, your nose voice, or your head voice. Using your throat voice is the best way to damage your vocal cords. So the way you detect it, should I talk about that right now? I'll do a really quick one. The way you detect it, touch your chest and just talk like normal. Like right now when I'm talking, actually some people might talk with their throat voice and nose voice. Okay, so the way you can tell, you might not be able to do this right now, but I'll teach the techniques later, is if you're using your chest voice and you're touching your chest, you'll feel your fingers vibrate when you touch it. And if you're using your nose voice, you could touch your nose and their nose will vibrate. And then you could touch your... and you could touch your forehead, and if you're using your head voice, your forehead will vibrate. Next JYP concept. Let's put it down here. Diaphragm. And diaphragm. Okay, one quick aside. My favorite, no, the part I hate the most watching these videos afterwards is just all the fucking background noise that goes on. But anyways, diaphragm. But you know what? I'm a fucking idiot. So yeah, my fucking therapist is on strike. I can't see my fucking therapist right now. I'm a little on edge. All right, let's move on. So the other thing that JYP taught me is singing with your diaphragm. So diaphragm's somewhere around here, down, like down. And the way you know if you're... So your diaphragm is the thing that you use to push air up. It's like you breathe in, and then where does that air go? The air goes down to your diaphragm. A lot of people who haven't trained vocals like me, I would breathe into my lungs. Well, you think, well, yeah, air goes to your lungs, right? No. So if you breathe into your lungs, so the way you find out is where you're breathing in, is you put one hand over your belly and one hand over your chest, your lungs, and you breathe in. And just now I breathe into my lungs. So my top hand moved. If you breathe in and your belly hand moves, like that, then that means you're breathing the air into your diaphragm. And the difference is, I don't think there's really any muscles in your lungs, whereas in your diaphragm you got all these abs. So therefore, if you bring the air down to your diaphragm, you could control it a lot better. You can direct the sound to where you want a lot better. And I'm losing my train of thought again because of the background noise, but let's move on. So the other thing is the speaking voice. Let me write that down too. I'll just write speaking. And this actually goes directly into the timbre. All right. So one thing that JYP taught me was that if you sing with your speaking voice, everybody's voice, like the shape of your body and the insides, right? Like you're just an instrument. Everybody's instrument is unique. Everybody's built different. So, and everybody's speaking voice is unique, and has a quality of its own. So if you sing with your speaking voice, your singing will naturally be unique. Um, so that sort of goes into timbre, and I could be totally wrong, but my interpretation of it is your timbre is the sound that your unique vocals make. Kind of like a woodwind instrument. When you blow air through the, clarinet or flute or oboe or whatever, it has the sound quality that the wood inside the instrument gives you. Except here, it's like your muscles and your bones and your tissue, right? So, anyways, yeah. so I sort of took all these concepts. I took all these concepts, and I sort of thought about them as I listened to my favorite artists while I was shower singing. To BTS, to One OK Rock, to Lauv, James Arthur, Maury Calliope, Michael Bublé, Taylor Swift, Ed Sheeran, and all those folks. All right, so let's move on. Chapter 3.